there's times where we look at our signage and we look at our procedures and we think, is this as transparent as it could be? Is it as informative to a new customer coming in off the street as it could be? And then there's times where it's like, the only way this could have been easier is if we would have stapled the issue to our faces.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting, comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Here's my favorite exchange from today.
Okay.
A gentleman was in looking for Power Ranger stuff. Didn't want singles. Didn't want single issues. He wanted trades. Great. We have a bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comes up to the counter. He's got 4 of them.
Okay.
I ring him up. Do you want a bag? Sure. All right. Oh, neat. It's exactly $75. What? It's exactly $75. You know, it's a round number. Why is it so much? Excuse me? I only got 4 books.
They're like
$18
each.
They're $17 each. 17 times 4 is 68 plus tax. Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Do you not want them all? No.
Do you want less than 4?
So he wound up buying 2 of them.
Okay.
But just I didn't. It was just accusatory enough that even Gina picked up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is it so much? Like,
because
what?
you got 4 books that are $17 each.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole reason. No hidden math there.
And even though you're right. It was almost like, not condescending, but a little condescending. Like, oh, you were right. You know, yeah.
So strange.
That's and I'm like, oh wow, dude's a really big Power Rangers fan. Now he's half the Power Rangers fan I thought he was. Mm. This is something that you and I were talking about just yesterday, but today I think really illustrates it. And sales are fine.
Okay.
I mean, wouldn't you agree?
I don't know that fine is the word I would use.
What would you use? Underwhelming?
Slightly underwhelming.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, I consider fine a C.
Okay.
Average, I guess, but we always want to be like, you know, A and B, but...
I mean, I think of average as, if it's this forever, we'll be fine. Not great, but we'll be fine.
Okay.
But if it's this forever, yeah...
Well, I mean, let me put it this way. If every Friday was today, fine.
Okay. I guess I'm just thinking in the larger scheme of the last, 10 to 14 days.
Okay. Well, I was thinking of the last couple of months.
Okay.
But...
in the last couple of months, yes, sure.
It's not enough, and it's never been enough, that when someone comes in the store, if they pick a book off the shelf and they buy it, and that's the interaction, and that's all, that's not enough. There has to be a level of engagement with us to them.
Okay.
I was talking about this, and I'll get into it in more detail, but with Gina today, about when she was just a customer. Mm-hmm. And before she worked for us. Mm-hmm. And she was startled by how friendly we were. And that is a quote.
I don't know if startling people is what we're looking for.
But I mean,
I see what you're getting at.
By how friendly we were.
Sure.
And I said, well, what do you expect? And she's like, well, when I shop, I just want to be left alone.
Sure.
And I said, I'm the exact same way. But when I walk into a store, if there's somebody there, if there's a greeter there, and they say hi, I'll say hi. Mm-hmm. If there's somebody at the door and I'm leaving, I'll either say thank you or goodbye. Mm-hmm. I don't see us as people that follow people around the store, pop out from behind a corner and like, so you need help finding anything?
No, definitely not.
No, but we definitely engage with people.
Try to.
But specifically, I think that there's value in us talking to people about the books they're buying to A, reassure them that they're making a good choice if they need it.
Okay.
B, let them know where they can go from there, or let them know of a similar product that is out, like the book that they're getting.
Okay.
Would you say that's a thing that you do?
I mean, I'm sure I could do it more. My tendency is to kind of let the customer take the lead, more or less.
Sure.
You are far more likely to jump in with oh, that's a great book, or oh, hey, if you like that, check out this other thing, or just some random thing. Like usually if you and I are working together on a Wednesday, I'm ringing people up, you're working on the computer, and you will absolutely like chime in quicker than I will. If people have questions, if there's something that I desperately need to tell them, like, oh my God, this is one of my favorite books, or oh, the new issue of this comes out next week, or whatever. But I don't necessarily push myself maybe as much as I should, where I'm not every single interaction looking through the stack of stuff to go, okay, here's a talking point. Here's the thing I can bring up with somebody. Like, some people feel like, and maybe I'm projecting, because I would definitely be this way, that they don't want that level of engagement. Like, if they bring something up, great. If they don't, I'm happy to just let them have gotten their books and have their day,
It's pretty great to hear you say that, because that is not how I see you interact with people.
Oh man, that's how I feel.
I'm what you just described for you and me. If you flip that, that's what I think.
Oh, okay.
I think you're way better at engaging somebody off the bat.
I guess we're both doing the same
and
thing.
I only chime in if you're not.
Okay.
And I think that they need a little, not reassurance, but, just a little extra.
Sure. A little sauce.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say hand selling.
No.
I'm not trying to say add-on.
No, I think in general, our attitude, and even with other people in the store, is not constantly be upselling things. Ask if they want bags and boards. Ask if they need a box. Ask if
right.
They want to get this new $8 book that came out no matter what they're getting. Ask if they want to join the subscription service. Like, we've talked before about how GameStop in particular is a place that is constantly pushing you to pre-order things and trying to upsell you loyalty programs and subscriptions and all sorts of stuff where it's just like, I literally came in here for one thing. Please let me leave with my one thing.
Yeah.
Don't make me constantly tell you no and why no. So we don't like doing that at Challengers. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a level of, if someone's getting, Heroes in Crisis, we might say, oh, are you reading Batman right now? Or if someone's getting Action Comics, we might say, hey, are you checking out Superman? Like that kind of thing. Where it feels like maybe there's more of this you could be enjoying, and we'd like to see you enjoying it. Not necessarily making the sale, but enjoyment.
It's literally like, oh, you're buying Heroes in Crisis #1? Because it's on our first issue rack right by the counter.
Right.
Just FYI, #2 is available.
It came out this week. I did that on Thursday.
And that's why I bring it up. It also came up again today. Or something like, hey, what is there like Chew? Well, the
how about Outer Darkness?
I mean, there's Farmhand.
Sure.
There's Leviathan. There's Outer Darkness.
Sure.
But it was literally like, oh, you're looking for a John Layman thing. Why didn't you check out Outer Darkness? It's brand new today. It just came out. The #1 is on the shelf.
Plus, of the 3 books you named, I think it's the best one. That's just me.
Okay. I honestly haven't read it, but I was going off of what you had told me, and I'm comfortable pitching Farmhand. But the point is, and another digression here as well, something that I say to people is, if they come in looking for something and we don't have it, I at least want them to leave with information.
Sure. Can we get it? Could somebody else have it?
Or if it isn't out yet. Like somebody had, they brought up Radiant Volume 1. And they're like, do you also have Volume 2? And I was able to say, no, Volume 2 isn't out yet. In fact, it comes out next week.
Oh, okay.
It's not on our invoice. We didn't order it.
Probably not.
But they did buy Volume 1. But it's like, I want to give them answers.
Sure. You don't just want to say, no. Do you have this? No.
Yeah.
Okay, are you getting it back in? Is it?
But also, I don't just want to say it's not out yet. I want them to know when it comes out.
Sure.
Gina had asked today about, is there an Immortal Hulk trade out yet? I'm like, not yet, but it comes out in 2 weeks. And Volume 2 comes out in February. I mean, there's also a level of too much
wasting
information.
it on Gina.
But it's not wasting. Like, when we were having this conversation, Gina had said, like, yeah, I'm really bad at that. And I said, but Gina, you don't have to do it when I'm here.
Right.
Because if you're ringing somebody up, I will do the talking. Like, I will do that. But at the same time, if somebody comes in and wants a recommendation, Gina immediately does it.
Sure.
There was a woman who came in who had and I like when the story has a twist ending. Like, oh yeah, well, just for the record, you recommended this thing for me to get my boyfriend's kid, and they loved it. That's why I'm asking for more recommendations. But it was, my nephew, my sister's kid. He's 8 years old. He likes this or this. I'm like, all right, let's go in here. Here are 20 different things you can get. Mm-hmm. And like, oh my God, there's so many things. This is great. I'll take this. I'll take this. This is good for next time. That kind of stuff.
Sure.
Like, that's fine. And I'm comfortable that when someone asks, the people that work at Challengers can do that. Mm-hmm. But it's also when people don't ask that we can do it too.
Sure.
Not every time. Not you want fries with that. I know there's monetary value in that from a corporate standpoint, but that is not what we're about. But ultimately what I'm getting at is I think that maybe some of the people that work with us could benefit from
a refresher,
positive interaction.
Sure.
And it's not about upselling. It's literally what you said before about getting people excited for the things that they haven't read yet that they're going to read.
Sure. I mean, just hopefully increasing their enjoyment of the experience of being at Challengers, no matter what form that takes, whether that's information, whether that's recommendations, whether that's assistance, whether that's chit-chat, whatever. I mean, we put conversation in the name for a reason. It shouldn't shock anyone that if you're a brick-and-mortar business in 2018, you have to offer more than just having things. Having things is insufficient to run a business. So if you can make the experience of being in your store enjoyable, like beyond the book they got, that has huge value.
We know a lot of trivial information. We know a lot of...
I guess it's weird if, like, it would be trivial any place other than when we're doing our jobs. Do you know what I mean?
Right. But it doesn't feel like it's a job when you're telling someone about a thing like that you're talking about.
No, but I mean, there is, like... Sometimes, I don't want this to sound, like, boastful or anything, but there's times where I'm having a conversation with someone, and I think, I can have this conversation and answer these questions and lead people in different directions because I've been reading comics for, almost 30 years, and because I've been working in comic shops for almost 30 years. Like, these skills, it's not something you can teach somebody. It's literally, like, it just takes decades of experience with the medium, with the retail element of it as well, that allows us to do these things where, otherwise, knowing a lot about Spider-Man doesn't mean anything to anyone anywhere, unless you're at the bar with no name. Like, then it's valuable, absolutely.
Unless you were entered into a trivia contest by your supervillain roommate.
Yes.
Who's trying to make some
supervillain roommate. He's trying to reform. Why won't you get on board with that? You're literally wearing your supervillain costume right now. There's times where, this is information that I've accrued, some of it on purpose. Like, there's things I know about different publishers and different creators that only exist because of doing my job. But then there's things where it's like, no, I've read a lot of comics, and I've liked a lot of comics, and I've had to, like, think about why I like the things I like and what's positive and negative about them. So then when it comes time to apply that to somebody's question, I can do that. It's made it so that I kind of can't do any other job. Like, I to be fair, I could do other jobs.
Yeah.
I've done other jobs. It's fine.
You could be a model builder?
I couldn't. I'm amateur at best. But, yeah, I mean, all of these years of knowing things about comics, it's trivial information, but it's hugely important to how we do our jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think that's interesting.
Yeah. But
we're being able to have those conversations with people is so important to our jobs.
But also, those conversations aren't necessarily a chore. They can be.
Some of them are.
But they're not, as a whole, they're not.
My conversational pet peeve is at the store? Like, the stuff where someone brings up, it's like, I have to do this, and I really don't want to do this, but I have to do this.
Well, I mean, may I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
When people want to talk to you about the movies.
Yeah. Yeah, not just the movies. Like, I don't mind talking about a movie that's come out. You want to talk about Infinity War? Within 2 months of it coming out? Great.
Sure.
Anything more than 2 months since it's come out? I don't really have that much more to say about Infinity War. If you want to talk about Avengers 4, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to, oh, here's a fan theory I heard. Like, I don't read that stuff online because I don't care about it. Having to have that conversation is, I don't want to say it's the worst part of the job, but it's one of the parts of the job where it's like, I don't like doing this. Like, the fan theorizing and the casting rumors and the speculation. I don't enjoy that. And yet it feels like I have to do that more than I would if I wasn't doing this job. Because certain people, have an expectation that we are, A, as invested as they are in speculating on what's going to happen next in the Marvel movies, which is a joke because you don't even watch the trailers.
Right.
And also, and this is the one that kills me, is when people go, so what have you heard about the next Avengers movie? Like, we're getting, like, drops of information from Marvel Studios. Like, they're coming in and saying, like, hey, by the way, since you're a comic shop, we want you to know,
need to know this.
Here's what's happening in Avengers 4. They don't tell us anything. I know when I see a trailer on YouTube. That's it. And that's all I'm watching is the trailers on YouTube. Nothing else.
I was surprised by how current the new Doctor Who, the 13th Doctor comic book, issue number 1 came out this week.
Uh-huh.
And I was very surprised how they had the personalities of the friends down, but the inner design of the TARDIS and all the clothing right, because the BBC is usually very strict with getting that stuff out, and for these books to be out now, they've been working on them for months.
Yeah.
So there's a core group of creators who have known...
There's like 6 people at Titan Comics that had to know...
But
had to not only know, but like either see roughs of the episodes or read scripts to get the character voices down. Like, you have to know what Graham and Ryan and Yaz sound like, how they interact.
If you jump back in time to...
Which you can, because you have the TARDIS.
For the TARDIS. An ALA of last June, when I was talking to Titan Comics' Ricky Clayton about the new Doctor, because they hadn't been announced yet. And I'm like, look, man, do you know? And you don't have to tell me, but just do you know? And he said, literally, the BBC will never tell us anything. We never know anything ahead of time. Because we both thought it was going to be announced that weekend, and it wasn't. It was announced like a month later that it was Jodie Whittaker. But
what?
I know, sorry, spoiler. Speaking of fan theories, this is a small tangent from what we're talking about, but Matt Mitovich from TV Line, he's one of the TV reviewers.
Sure.
He talks about how he doesn't ever care about fan theories and doesn't want to get involved because it's his job to talk to showrunners and creators and stars, and he doesn't want that stuff cluttering his brain.
Sure.
However, he came across or was stumbled into an Arrow fan theory of what's happening now.
Okay.
And he's like, damn, if it wasn't in my head so much that I found evidence, like my own ideas, like, this might be right, and here's why. It's specifically who the new Green Arrow is. Any guesses as to what this fan theory is?
No, I haven't watched the last 2 episodes, so if it's information from there, I would.
No, it's not. It's just from the first couple episodes that you saw.
No, I don't even know who's left that they could possibly be.
William from the future.
Okay. Like he traveled back in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at first,
why?
He was like, part of it is, remember when Diaz was attacking Felicity and then we never saw what happened? And it's like, Argus saved me, off panel. It was actually William, who, as Green Arrow, who's like, hey mom, it's me, don't tell anybody.
Oh, so Felicity knows who it is?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you cast an actor for future William, you might as well use him more, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, we all thought it was, we're supposed to think that it's
Roy.
Speedy, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, comic book Speedy, not TV show Speedy.
Right.
Yeah, but it's like, he's like, damn it, I don't like fan theories, but this one holds water.
Yeah, I've seen a few creators, comics, TV shows, whatever, who say specifically, like, it's great that people have theories. I do not want to expose myself to them because I don't want that to influence the direction we go in.
Yeah, and the same way that people don't like reading pitches, solicitation pitches, because you don't want to be liable to, well, that was my idea and you stole it.
Right.
Well, if I've never read it, I can't steal it.
Yeah.
It is odd to me a little bit that at this point in time, we're a little more than 6 months away from Avengers 4, and we don't have a title yet. But knowing the title won't in any way change my anticipation or excitement for this movie. I'm not going to not see it because it has a dumb title. I'm not going to want to see it more because it has a good title.
So if they call it like Avengers Force Works, that wouldn't be enough for you to go like, ugh.
No, man. What if, what is that dude? Millennium? What is that?
Century.
I was going to say. Century, not century. Century.
Once again, information that would serve us in literally no other job. No other job. Even working at Marvel Comics, knowing which one Century is, no. Wouldn't help you there. Jason Aaron doesn't need to know that.
No.
Dan Slott doesn't need to know it.
So I started this by talking about like things that I think that we as a store are good at.
Okay.
And my product knowledge goes down every day, it seems. I forget a lot of stuff. I still have affinity for the things I grew up with, but I'm not remembering a lot of the new things. A woman comes up today with 2 back issues.
Okay.
2 Detective Comic back issues.
Uh-huh.
Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers, Terry Austin,
Ooh.
Joker stories.
Wow.
I didn't know we had those.
Yeah.
Like 400s run.
Wow.
Like 35-cent cover price.
Those might be expensive comic books.
I know.
That we sold for 99 cents.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? We had these?
Dang.
And I wanted to look through and be like, are these the Joker fish ones? So she buys those 2 things. That's all she bought. She left. I immediately go to the D back issues and find we have 4 more from that run.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. God, that stuff was like, I mean, to give you an idea of the time period, there's a little blurb on the cover of 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You could be in the Superman movie.
Which one? 3? What would that have been?
It just said Superman movie.
It's got to be 3 by that point.
I mean, it didn't have a Superman logo like they did later on. I don't know. I didn't look up the time period. It's possible it was Superman the movie.
Maybe.
Because otherwise, why wouldn't it say Superman 2?
It's a good point. Yeah. I guess I think of the Englehart Rogers stuff as being a little later in time, but I guess it wasn't. I guess it was late 70s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in theory, like if it was 76, maybe.
Could be.
Maybe.
Could be. And that's just another, like, oh my god, I didn't know we had these.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah, there's fun stuff in those boxes sometimes.
Yeah.
That's usually the limit of my I will help people with stuff is I'm not digging through the back issue boxes.
No.
It's 99 cents. The deal is we're selling them to you for 99 cents. You can dig through them.
If it's a recent back issue that's not on the shelf anymore, I may take a look.
And if someone calls in,
yeah,
I'll usually poke my head into the boxes. But if someone's in the store, it's like, you're getting them for $1. You can dig through the boxes.
Yeah, that goes back to my, you're an adult, you should be able to use the alphabet.
Uh-huh. And yet.
Yeah, I know. There is a I'm trying to be better at taking people to things they can't find, but there is a quick level of aggravation I have when it's
sure.
something that's as if to say, do you have any dollar comics? Yes, they're in that spinner rack right behind you. Where? If you turn around, you're looking right at it. You're looking right... Fine, I'll walk over and point 2 inches from where you were. Like, that kind of thing kind of bothers me.
Sure.
Because it's very obvious. If it's a book you can't find, or someone comes up and says, look, I'm looking for this thing, I know it's in this area, like, yeah, okay, I'll walk over here. Yeah. In my head, I did, like, because that happened today, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to turn around, walk backwards and make eye contact with you the whole time, and grab it off the shelf without looking, but I won't do that.
No.
I've done that to employees when they can't find something in the back room.
Uh-huh.
I'll go in blindfolded and come out with it.
Uh-huh.
But that's just me being a jerk, and doing that to customers is not.
No. Although it can be frustrating. There was the guy who's in on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Who couldn't find the New This Week section.
Oh.
Who, basically... So he comes up to the counter with Redlands. Last month's issue of Redlands. And you're like, hey, I don't know if you saw, but there's a new issue of Redlands out this week. There is? Yeah, it's in...
Thank you for using that to illustrate my point from earlier.
It's in the New This Week section. Oh, yeah, it's just going to be just at the end of the comic section.
Very end of the store.
Yeah.
The very end of the store.
It's going to be in the back of the store. Okay? So he walks the comic section. He kind of looks where Redlands is. No, it's going to be just at the end of the store. So he walks to the end of the comic section.
Where the action figures are.
Where the action figures are in the corner. And he's just looking like we jokingly like looked up and down, but it's like he was looking to the left and right. It's like just around the corner, just turn around, just around the corner there. Like around the corner, for people who don't know the layout of our store, the section he was in and around the corner is a distance of maybe 3 feet.
I was going to say 2 feet, but sure.
Maybe 3 feet. At a push, it's 3 feet, probably like 2.5.
But I liked when you
like,
said around the corner. He turned completely around and looked at the graphic novels behind him.
Yeah, like nope, and then he found it.
And Dal, I was going to say, Dal, what is the kicker to this?
The joke of everything is that the Redlands that he bought off of the comic section, not the New This Week section, the previous issue, had a sign on Redlands that said, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have the sign in front of me, a new issue of this series is in the New This Week section around the corner.
With an arrow pointing.
With an arrow pointing in the direction you should walk. And it wasn't until you had said at the counter, hey, there's a new issue out this week, that he even realized that it was just like, I mean, there's times where we look at our signage and we look at our procedures and we think, is this as transparent as it could be? Is it as informative to a new customer coming in off the street as it could be? And then there's times where it's like, the only way this could have been easier is if we would have stapled the issue to our faces. Like, that would have been easier for this guy. Everything else, man, like, nothing we could have done would have helped. So our signage was fine. Him not finding it was kind of on him.
Yeah, I remember when I used to work in a video store when I was in high school, and it was 2-day rentals, and then the owner changed it to 1-day rentals. And it was our job to tell everybody, hey, these are only good for 1 day. And there was a sign up as well that said 1 day. Mm-hmm. So the weekend that it went into effect, we had a guy who kept it out for 2 days and brought it back. And I'm like, hey, there's a late fee sign for this. It was only for 1 day now. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, we told everybody when they were renting. And no one told me. I'm like, well, there's also, there's a big sign right here on the counter. And I've never forgotten this quote. Well, I can't read every sign in the place. So I think about that.
Does he have to make his eyeballs work ahead of time?
Yeah.
You don't just reflexively read something?
I've
really
always
work at it?
kept that in mind and thought, maybe more signage isn't a good idea. We try to keep our signage very simple, bold letters, easy, like on top of the comic racks, it says comics.
Yeah.
On top of New This Week, it says New This Week.
And print it out. Nothing's handwritten.
Yeah, that's a rule of ours is never handwrite, unless it's like a 1 day only type of thing, or
yeah, if it's a sign on the door saying, "Hey, we're closed because of a holiday,"
yeah,
I'm not necessarily going to print out a sign for that.
But even the
1 day a year,
like the back in 5 minutes sign is printed out.
Yep,
one of my favorite art alterations I've ever done.
It was a good one.
Is put the Mike Allred Batman doing the Bat-2C.
Noted Monkeys artist Mike Allred.
In yes, Noted Monkeys cover album. Mm-hmm. Yes, or album cover. Sorry, artist. Damn it, I got it backwards. Changing the bat symbol to a Challenger C, making the suit red.
Yeah, it's good.
Big fan of that. Use that a lot.
I still recall a few times that people have had questions about their subscriptions, seeing something in there that they weren't expecting to see, not expecting something they were expecting to see, and or even having their subscriptions put out because they haven't come in and they haven't responded to our messages. A few people have done when we say, well, we've sent out emails, they say with total disdain, well, I don't read those.
Yeah.
Okay? What am I supposed to do about that?
Or this is a recent one. Oh, I gave you my spam email.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if that's the case, I don't feel bad. Because as we've talked about numerous times, we go out of our way to give our subscribers as much information as possible about the books they're getting, the books they're going to get. There's still a large number of people that get the emails on a Friday and don't realize that those books aren't out yet.
Yeah.
You can't get them until Wednesday.
Even though I put multiple places, the subject, the body, to tell you when everything's coming out. And use phrases like, when these books arrive next week.
Yep.
And yet people will come in and go, oh, I thought this was going to be out. Like, nope, next Monday.
Or
next Wednesday.
People that will respond to the email that has their polls list in it with, can I get a copy of my list? Yeah, it's
there's
in
usually one or two people
in the body of this email
who, within 48 hours of us sending out their subscription list, will go, hey, can I get a copy of my current polls? Yeah, sure.
The difference between you and me in that situation is you just send them the list. I would send the list saying, hey, just so you know, we already sent it to you on this day. Here's another copy.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but I don't do that because at that point it's more work. And I don't see the value in it. But if you're angry about it, that's the value in it.
Well, I mean, it's not angry. It's about hopefully teaching for
I don't
the
know.
future.
I'm angry about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, if I hit one button, I'm sending this email. If I type out a message and hit one button, then I'm doing twice as much work.
But don't you have to hit a second button because you have to take away whatever header image is loaded?
No, I frequently get rid of those just so that when that happens,
Okay.
it's ready to go. Not always, but frequently.
What I used to do is send one to me to see what the header is, so that I could say, hey, your list is coming. It'll have a Hulk ad at the top. You can just ignore that, because I never remember how to take that stuff out.
Sure.
Though it feels like we're still discovering hidden Comic Suite features, but it's getting closer and closer to the time to migrate to RMH.
Yeah.
And
you would think Diamond would want us to do that.
every
I
time
feel like we've heard about it.
something
in a while.
happens where, like, just this week, RMH emailed us saying, "Hey, do you want to talk to someone about this?"
Sure.
It seems like the next day I see something on a RMS Facebook group about, look at this horrible thing RMH did today.
Yeah, it definitely feels like RMH, despite the responsiveness of the program team, is not necessarily where we thought it would be by this point.
Yeah.
On top of that, like, one of the main reasons why we were going to do RMH was, for pull list. Where is pull list?
Yeah.
I assume people are beta testing it. Diamond mentioned it months ago that people were going to be beta testing it.
Dal, where's online billing?
I know, right? Yeah. So I think the, fall, I want to say, was maybe where they had suggested that pull list was going to launch, summer or fall. And I mean, it's not winter yet. Got another month.
Well, I know they did lose one of their major RMS programmers, or their Comic Suite programmers.
So that's too bad.
Hey, I got to talk to our rep today.
Jamie?
Yeah, he called asking about some image emails that they sent out, and if we got them.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, we got them. He's like, all right, cool. I just got to check off that I talked to you.
Okay.
And I wanted to say, we also get them from Image. Like, you guys have started doubling up. You're sending emails
Boom
about
we
books.
get from Boom and from Diamond.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same email. It just comes 3 hours later.
Yeah, we'll get Diamond one from Image saying, here's one from this creator, and then from an Image PR person from the same email. And then there's people on the boards who will cut it and paste it in case anybody else hadn't seen it.
Sure. Because I don't check those emails. Okay.
You weren't indignant enough when you said it.
I don't look at those emails.
There you go. That's
great. I will never forget that, because it was the most baffling thing. Because
how dare you?
What do you even
is
say
what
to
it was.
that?
Yeah.
What do you even say to that? It would be like if someone ran through a stop sign and hit another car. And you went, didn't you see a stop sign? I don't look at stop signs. Okay, what? All right. You should start doing that then, I guess. Maybe this could have been avoided.
This almost took a dark turn, and all different things you can say indignantly. But all of mine were just terrible that I thought of, so I won't say them.
Yeah, let's just assume they're bad.
Yeah. They're, oh God, I'm thinking of more. Oh, they're funny, but they're bad. Hey, this is, since we're talking about Diamond things, this is a good time to segue into something that is changing for us.
Diamond is becoming an adult.
For their voice is getting deeper. They're finding hair in weird places. Not weird places, just places they didn't have before.
Sure. I mean, weird places like a warehouse or like a website.
Oh, you always expect to
That'd be
find
weird.
hair in a warehouse. Trust me.
Weird.
But it is warehouse related. But on the surface level, for the first time in a while, my work schedule is changing. Weirdly, yours is not.
I mean, a little bit. Not like days I work, but what I do on
What
those
you
days.
do on those days, Jane, but not. But like I'm
not working more or less hours.
In context, I don't have a weekend anymore. I no longer have a weekend, yet all your days off are consecutive.
They are. It's kind of weird how that worked out.
Yeah. But it's because there's an industry change. I don't even know. It's not even an industry change so much as a local change for us. The on-sale date of comics is not changing. But comics come out on Wednesdays, as they have for a very long time now. Throughout the history of Challengers, when we opened, we would have to pick up books very early Wednesday morning.
So early.
Rush back to the store, sort things out, get them on the shelves, start pulling club.
Which, I mean, to put in perspective, was not that difficult back then because we didn't have that much stuff coming in.
Right, we were getting less stuff.
Yeah, it was
we
a
had
few
less,
boxes.
less club.
It was not as big a deal.
And then it was getting a little bit harder, and then we found out from other retailers that if we just offer a little payola to the warehouse, we could pick up our books on Tuesdays. Like, at first, it was a literal cloak and dagger. I had to meet someone from the warehouse off-site in a parking lot. And then it just became like, oh, you want it? You could mail a check to this person each month if you want. Honest to God, like, we wound up mailing the check.
Sure.
We were sending a check out to a warehouse employee to cover it.
Yeah.
Weirdly, that person doesn't work there anymore.
Surprise.
But then the industry changed, saying, okay, look, you can pick up your product on Tuesdays.
Yeah, and one of the other things is that was what we were doing. The whole industry was really weird with how certain, like, Diamond had rules about, like, certain multi-store accounts who met a certain threshold could get their books on Tuesday because it was just the volume they were doing, it was fine. Certain warehouses in the country had basically people grandfathered in where they were getting their stuff delivered on Tuesday. Like via UPS, it was just showing up from a local hub.
But then other stores started to get a lot of UPS stores started to get their books early as well. It just started happening.
Yeah. So there were, we had to pay somebody off at a local warehouse to get our stuff on Tuesday. But some people in Chicago or in different parts of the country could get their stuff on Tuesday without paying somebody off, or they only got their stuff on Wednesday or whatever. So it was a very random set of occurrences.
But Diamond saw the value after retailers had asked for a while about giving more time to check books in, to be able to report damaged product, to be able to have books waiting for customers when you opened on Wednesday morning.
To being aware and knowledgeable about the products you're selling, since we don't get preview copies
anymore
of anything, and we don't really get PDFs of a lot of books. We would have people coming in when we open on a Wednesday and saying, hey, this new issue that came out from Image, from DC, from Marvel, how is this? We would just say, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I've been unpacking boxes for the last 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm halfway through pulling club. I don't know. It looks good. I hope it's good. But now, when people come in on a Wednesday at 11, we can tell them, oh, Outer Darkness is good. Or, oh, we really recommend this new series or whatever. Like, it's expected that you be knowledgeable about the products you're selling, especially the brand new ones.
And we were the last medium to not get books early. CDs and DVDs and books, those would all be at their stores well in advance. And I don't mean like a day or two, I mean like well in advance.
Sure.
So we've been picking up on Tuesday for the last couple years. Mm-hmm. A while ago, I noticed on the manifest that I sign each week when I'm getting the books that some of the stores had a date earlier than what I was doing. Mm-hmm. They were getting to pick up their books on Monday. And I looked into it, and there's a Diamond rule where if you spend a certain amount of dollar amount, you can get your books, because to back up, and a lot of people already know this, but for those who don't, the majority of the stores around the country get their books delivered, whether it be from UPS or a different delivery service. But Diamond does have hubs where they use independent expediters to ship books to. Major markets, things like that.
Yeah.
So there is a warehouse in Elk Grove Village that gets a lot of the store's books for the Chicagoland and suburban area. Not all of them. A lot of people still choose to get deliveries.
Yeah, like we have the ability, because there's a few of us and because we've got a car and because it's not super far away, to go pick our books up. If we were in like Peoria, or if it was just one of us, or if we didn't have a car, like that would mean that we would have to get it delivered UPS.
And UPS can show up whenever they want. We've talked about that a lot as well. So there's a place we go out to in the suburbs to get the books. Fine. Now, I said I noticed that other stores had been signing the manifest early, and that's specifically because there is directly above us, where I sign every week, is another store that gets the books a day early, so their signature is already on the manifest. I don't go looking through, like, what do other people have and all this kind of stuff.
No.
And honestly, it's because recently you've been coming with me because I can't lift anything over 10 pounds for a while.
And all of our boxes are over 10 pounds.
Yeah, most of our boxes are over 10 pounds. So you are there doing all the lifting, so I'm just chit-chatting with the warehouse manager or the not the warehouse manager, but the woman who's in charge of the comic stores.
Sure.
Who buzzes you in, checks off your stuff, makes sure you're taking the right, that kind of stuff. So we started talking a week ago or whatever it was about how, also because you and I are doing it together, we have to get there extra early to make sure we get back in time for the store to open.
Right.
And the differences between how many boxes are there earlier versus later versus like the stores that are so big that need pallets to be forklifted into a vehicle or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I had casually mentioned that there's a number of people that I see that get it on Monday delivery. And then she had said, well, the weird part about that is that the books show up on Saturdays. All your product is here Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Some stores don't even come until Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
But it's here that whole time. And we had said something like, oh, I wonder how many people would get it Monday or whatever. Something like that, right? Am I remembering that right?
I think you're right.
Okay. Cut to this week, when we get in, she's like, hey, I talked to the warehouse manager, and he said anybody can, he said, you can pick up on Mondays from now on. And I said specifically, are you saying we can or everybody can? And do you remember what I said next?
I don't.
Oh, it's one of my best lines.
I
hopefully you'll be able to, because I want you to back me up that I said this. Because I said, we don't want special treatment. We want what everybody gets.
Yeah, you did say
so
that.
Can everybody pick up? And she said, no, it's everybody. In fact, they wish everybody would to clear up the space faster because this stuff blocks some of the lanes.
Yeah.
So long story short, as of next week, we could start picking up on Monday.
Yeah.
It's going to make some changes difficult. Sometimes, we get our check for Diamond on the way to pick up the books. Mm. Often Mondays there's a holiday.
Yeah.
And the banks are closed.
Yeah.
That's going to change things up a little bit. One of the funny parts about this is that in the car on the way home, I was so excited. I started to call some other stores that we know to say, hey, did you guys hear this? We get to do this. They all had heard. And nobody was as excited enough as I was to call us and say, hey, guess what?
Right.
I mean, they probably assumed she was telling everybody, but I didn't assume that.
Okay.
Only because of the conversation we had had.
Sure.
So while I'm not taking credit for this, I'm saying it's the conversations we had that got her to ask about it.
Sure.
And I had talked to you about this ahead of time, saying, should we even mention this? Like, this is a big deal for us, and it's going to make life, different and hopefully easier. But what if this isn't a Diamond rule? This is just a thing that warehouse is doing.
Sure.
And then somebody hears this and complains that their warehouse isn't doing it, and then it gets shut down for everybody.
Yeah.
But you had said that you didn't think that was going to happen.
I mean, I don't think so, mostly because, again, like, the fact that everyone at the warehouse, or the woman at the warehouse was telling everybody.
Yeah.
If this was hey, we're not supposed to do this, so keep this under your hat, you would phrase it that way. You wouldn't say, everyone's fine with it, everything's okay.
Yeah, that's
true. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also...
And it doesn't change street date.
Right. And that's... in the past, stores would complain that other stores got things earlier. Well, it doesn't affect when you put them on sale. The street date is still 10 a.m., whatever time zone you're in.
Yeah, there are still going to be secret shoppers coming around checking into this.
Yeah. It'll look a little bit weirder. Like, I'll still make up the board and stuff on Mondays, but I won't post it. Because it'll be a full day of Tuesday with the wrong information. So
True.
That'll probably have to be like the first thing I do Wednesdays from now on.
Sure.
And it means that from Wednesday afternoon till Tuesday, or I'm sorry, from Monday afternoon till Tuesday night, there's going to be all these boxes on the back counter full of the new product.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. They usually sit there because they're currently only sitting there for like 5 hours before they go on the shelves when we close. Going forward, if it's going to be a few days...
But it's not going to be a few days. It'll be a day.
It'll be, we'll have finished checking everything in by like 3 o'clock Monday, and nothing can go on the shelves until 7:01 Tuesday night.
Right.
So it's just going to be in the way. So I just as soon hide it in the back room or put it in the back hallway. Something. I don't know. I mean, I use that space for things, especially on days when I'm moving books around and making spaces and all that sort of stuff. Like I need some place to put those things, and losing that table for basically all of Tuesday.
Well, no,
Not great for me.
that'll be your decision, because I don't work Tuesdays
I don't
anymore.
work Tuesdays anymore.
Never again.
I'll figure something out.
I'm done with your Tuesday. I love having Mondays off, though. It's going to be so weird to adjust. It's going to be weird. Hey, I measured the red cart.
Yeah?
Slightly over 2 feet. The actual surface of the cart is exactly 2 feet.
Uh-huh.
Perfect.
But the handles?
The handles jut out microscopically. It'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, if up panel connection kind of bows out a little bit, it's not a big deal.
What we're talking about is next weekend we're going to be at the ChiTaG Fest, or it's ChiTaG Week is what the whole thing is called, but it's the Chicago Toy and Game Expo at Navy Pier, and we're working on our booth setup. And because of that, I honestly don't know what we're going to be doing for the podcast next week, because that is all weekend.
Yeah, we'll be setting up Friday, and the show is Saturday and Sunday.
And then tear down Sunday night.
Right.
So we'll figure it out. We'll see.
Guess.
I emailed Mary today to be like, hey, I don't mean to bother you with a week to go, but none of this information says where do we load or unload. Where's the dock? Where are we going to go? Mm-hmm. Also, we do have a promo code if anybody wants to go. This show's open to the public. It is a lot of toy manufacturers, game manufacturers.
Hasbro's going to be there.
Hasbro's got the biggest booth. There's going to be a bunch of Star Wars stuff related to the show. Right by us as well.
Okay.
So it's ChiTaG.com, I believe, is the ChiTAG is the website. And if you use the word Challenger as a promo code, you get $3 off your ticket. And tickets are like $14 or so. They're not expensive at all.
Bring the family.
It is. It's a show for the whole family. However, I was testing it today, and our promo code doesn't work. So I emailed her about that as well.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do like the final week push, like, hey, here's our code, come in, get tickets, blah blah blah. We us being there is hopefully a benefit to them.
Hopefully.
So I want to be able to like show them numbers of people that use the code or whatever. But
sure.
It doesn't seem to work. Maybe it was just my computer. Who knows? Yeah, next week is going to be a busy week.
Yeah.
Busy week, busy weekend. But I don't know. It should be fun.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it.
It's not going to be a killer show for us. It'll be fun.
No. We didn't plan it and book it like it's a huge show.
Book it. I get it. So, Dal, now that you've actually read Green Lantern #1 all the way through, what do you think?
I liked it.
Okay, can you elaborate?
I can.
He just said, I liked it, and then stared at me.
No, I enjoyed it. It's pretty much what I thought it was going to be. It's a very British sci-fi take on Green Lantern. It's for if people like 2000 AD, especially the early stuff, you'll get a lot out of this.
So I used that today,
and
I got, what's 2000 AD?
Oops.
That's a deeper cut then. I mean, that's harder to explain.
Yeah.
Here's Frank Davis's phone number.
Oh, okay.
I listeners may remember I had some trepidation going into it. I'm on board. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be too weird, because let's face it, Grant Morrison can be too weird.
Yeah, but he's
Let's face it, he can be too weird.
That knows how to modulate that stuff for the DC universe. Like, he's not doing the filth, he's doing Green Lantern. So it's going to be within a certain kind of spectrum of
Darkseid shooting Green Lantern back through time, where
sci-fi superhero stuff.
Go through different eras.
Yeah. You explained it. It's pretty straightforward.
Well, our Lumberjanes event is official.
Cool.
We have both Lila Sturgis and Kat Lay, two current Lumberjanes creators, coming to the store on Saturday, December 1st from 4 p.m. We're going to stay open later. It's going to be a later thing. We're encouraging people to dress up as their favorite Lumberjane or as their own Lumberjane.
Ooh.
Do the look yourself, make it like that. But before we get to December, we still have Women's Comics Night on Monday, the 12th. And several of the Women's Comics Night attendees were in tonight because they were meeting up to go roller skating.
Cool.
So they were in at the end of the day. As we said, we'll be at ChiTaG for the next weekend. But at the store on Saturday will be Andrew Roston with his brand new, coming out this week, memoir graphic novel, Form of a Question, dealing with his time on Jeopardy, but also how Jeopardy taught him to live life. And that will be Saturday the 17th. We do have a Black Friday sale coming up on Friday the 23rd. And again today I got how much will graphic novels be for Black Friday?
Full price.
Here's the flyer.
0% off.
Exactly what it says on the flyer. And for those of you not looking at a flyer right now, that is all of the books on the shelves marked comics are $1.
Yep. Comics. Single issue comics. 50% off.
Not new this week. Not things in your hold box. Not local artist section. Definitely not action figures or graphic novels. Just the shelves marked comics. And even though they're not marked comics, inside cakes the single issue books as well.
Yeah.
Not graphic novels.
Nope.
And all of our back issues, and by that, it's the books in the drawer boxes marked back issues. Those will be 50 cents a piece.
Yeah.
And we'll have a bunch of new boxes of that stuff we'll be displaying just for that weekend.
Yep.
Some like 10 or so boxes of stuff never before picked through.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh eyes on that. So that was Friday the 23rd, and that takes us back to December 1st, which is Lumberjanes Day. Another women's comics night on Monday the 10th. Just added today, but not official wording yet, so I can't tell you exactly, but Saturday the 15th of December, Alex Rosado will be in store with his brand new graphic novel that's coming out through Kickstarter.
Cool.
That we should have our copies in at that time, and the author, the writer, is in England, so she will not be part of this.
Okay.
But Alex wants to debut it
Sure.
at Challengers, but specifically during a Saturday when there's families and kids, because it's a kids graphic novel.
Cool.
So we'll have more information on that as it is available, and once we confirm that we will get the books in time. And then another new event we're just adding for the holiday season, Saturday, December 22nd, the Saturday before the Christmas holiday, from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m., we'll be offering free gift wrapping. We'll have hot cocoa and Christmas cookies. And the gift wrapping, and this is a point I in fact have to make, it is only for things that you've bought at Challengers. You can't bring in things you bought from like Marshall Field or Macy's that are gifts. Only things that you bought from us are eligible for the gift wrapping. It doesn't have to be purchased that day, but you do need to have brought in a receipt with it to show us you got it from us, so we can make sure it's, qualifies.
Sure.
Because we have several rappers who are donating their time, and we have, obviously we're paying for the supplies and things like that. So it is an incentive to buy more Christmas gifts from Challengers and have some cocoa.
Yeah.
And some cookies as well. And that gets us to the end of the year. Maybe things will be added before then. I don't know. We never know. It just kind of happens.
Yeah. There's a few things in there that basically just happened.
Yeah, that's true. That were different from last week, and last year too, but also last week. And that takes us to right now, which is the point where I say this has been Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast here on the Yak Channel Podcast Network in Chicago. And I think that we really hit like the part of the business side of it. Like, business doesn't have to be number crunching and graphs and projections, but literally we discussed a major event that's changing the way we run our business, or on the way the days things are run. So that counts. Like, sometimes I don't feel like we're business enough.
Sure.
But business takes many different forms. This is one of them. Oh, hey, a quick side note. I was told today about a new podcast that Ed Pisker does called...
With Jim Rugg.
Oh, you're Jim Rugg as well?
I think so.
Yeah. What was it? Comics Kayfabe? Where it sounds like they're just going through old Wizard magazines.
That's what it looks like.
It's from what I was told today, it sounds awesome.
Cool. I hope you like it.
I will. I need to check that out. Yeah. Speaking of podcasts, this has been one. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.